Hello, my name is Edgar Bravo and I'm the supervising agent for the Joint Terrorism Task Force. This briefing will cover the current threat to U.S. and foreign interests by the terrorist group Islamic State of Iraq and Al-Sham. This briefing will address the following key judgments: the reach of ISIS domestically and internationally, their determination, their capability, the U.S. support network, their methodology of support, current ongoing lead investigations against the domestic supporters of the terrorist group, and the potential threat to U.S. homeland and international allied partners. The reach of ISIS domestically and internationally. Domestically, ISIS has had approximately 6 inspired attacks here in the homeland. They have a vast social network, close to 500 working social network accounts in all 50 states. Over 70 Americans have been charged with ISIS-related activity. As of 2017, 250 Americans have traveled or attempted to travel to Syria and Iraq in order to join ISIS. Internationally, spanning the length of the Mediterranean and the Red Sea, there have been over 40 attacks by the terrorist group. The large attacks have been conducted in Egypt, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Libya. Our U.S. European allies have experienced attacks in France, Spain, the United Kingdom, and Germany. The ideology of the group is a hard, sustaining determination with having large swaths of ethnic cleansing in the Middle East region and have been conducted throughout the Iraq region. Um, their ideologies fit the Federal Bureau of Investigation's definition of a terrorist group. They are ensuing the use of force and violence against persons and property in order to intimidate or coerce their government, the civilian population, to further their political and social objectives. The capability of the group. Recently, ISIS has built a substantial arsenal of high-tech, small, and heavy weapons that match those of modern military force. ISIS has also created a substantial following through social media. This has allowed them the capability to inspire further attacks outside the Middle East region to further expand their ideologies. The U.S. support network and the impact ISIS has had here on the homeland. ISIS has created a sustaining U.S. support network with the use of social media, mainly Twitter. This social media influence has led over 100 American citizens to join ISIS in Syria. Additionally, the support network now spans across the entire continental United States, with major online activity being identified in St. Louis, Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and Minneapolis. The methodology. Intelligence gathered shows the impact of ISIS and their use of social media to influence attacks. An independent study case conducted by Statista used a sample size of approximately 20,000 social media posts. This independent study showed that Saudi Arabia, as the leading region where ISIS is sending their tweets from, approximately 866 tweets are coming from Saudi Arabia. Currently, Saudi Arabia is experiencing the highest number of terrorist attacks. The top 3 countries, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Syria, all have significant number of tweets being put out by ISIS in their respective region, and all are experiencing a high number of terrorist attacks. The 4th country on that list is the United States of America, with less than 50 tweets, which separates us from Iraq. This could be an indicator that the level of attacks could begin to rise here in the United States. Currently ongoing U.S.-led investigations against domestic support of the group. There are nearly 900 active investigations against ISIS sympathizers throughout all 50 states. 71 individuals have been charged with ISIS-related activities since March of last year. In early months of this year, 56 arrests have been made. This suggests that ISIS methodology in spreading their cause is gaining support here in the United States and is working. A potential threat to the U.S. homeland and international allied partners. This final section mainly focuses on the Syrian refugee crisis and its impact on allied and U.S. efforts to stop ISIS terrorists coming and crossing over into Europe and making their way into the United States. The Director of National Intelligence has said that ISIS is taking advantage of the torrent of migrants to insert operatives into that flow, adding that the organization was pre-skilled in phony passports so they can travel ostensibly as legitimate travelers throughout Europe. German intelligence has suggested the Islamic State militants have slipped into Europe and disguised as refugees. This would correspond with the attacks that they have experienced again in France, the UK, and in Germany. ISIS has the ability to partner with transnational criminal organizations in efforts to smuggle terrorists across Canadian and Mexican borders. Currently, Mexican drug cartels have expanded their operations to human trafficking and now represent the largest transnational criminal organization responsible for human trafficking and smuggling. The failure of imagination was the major contributor to the attacks of September 11th. There should be no doubt in imagination that ISIS will use transnational criminal organizations as vessels to smuggle attackers into the United States. This concludes my briefing.